Hello, this is Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer.
Welcome home. Soar into tower. We are ready for takeoff.
Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Hey, it's Amy from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey Clubbers, it's Scott from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey, it's Kathleen from DVC Clubhouse.
Welcome aboard. It's Phil from DVC Clubhouse.
Hey, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Debrief Podcast brought to you by DVC Clubhouse. This is Amy, joined as always by Phil, Kathleen, and Scott. Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hi guys.
Nailed it.
I let you.
Welcome aboard, guys. Yeah, Scott and I were very well behaved. Let's be honest here.
After the last episode, I was very well behaved compared to the last episode.
So for the record, I had to wipe it just because they would have pulled the podcast. So Amy still has no idea what happened. Only the three of us do.
That sucks that you had to pull it, but I totally get that.
I think it's actually better that the three of us know what you did and she doesn't. It just makes it's more fun.
Well, either way, it worked.
You can't deny.
Well done, Amy. Well done.
Thank you very much.
I just want to state for the record that I have warned Amy what is going to happen this episode, and she is still just charging ahead, heedless of the dangers involved. So I want that out here right at the front.
I am fearless.
You're something.
I got nothing.
Anytime I hear the words wing it, I get a little bit nervous, but
We're going to wing it, guys.
we're going to wing it.
So, we're going to do something that we love doing here at DVC Clubhouse. Another fun episode of this or that to see what people prefer. When there's more than one option, what would you pick? And so we don't have a list. We've just decided to do this like 3 minutes ago. So we're just gonna, it's
We
gonna
don't
be
know.
like it's gonna be
We don't know
rapid
what-
fire. We don't know who's gonna say what, but we're just gonna go.
Does anyone else watch Yellowstone?
Yes.
No.
Oh, yeah.
This just brings me back to the scene where they're chasing the Mustangs down the mountain. He says, so have you come up with a plan for this?
Best we could come up with, sir, was...
All right.
All right. So, shall I start us off?
Yeah, it's your idea. You go
You
with it.
better.
Let's see what you got.
You better, because I got nothing right now.
Which would you prefer? Starting right now or waiting a couple of minutes until we have a list?
This train is going off the tracks so fast. I can't wait.
I was going to say, this ship has already sailed, so let's just keep on rolling with it.
No
What
more
you got?
talks of ships. Enough. We're done with this.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right.
So, this or that, which do you prefer, Boma or Sanaa?
Boma.
You got to say why.
Probably because I've ate at Boma more than Sanaa. And maybe that's not a fair answer, but considering, I'm going to have to go with Boma.
But it's an answer nonetheless.
And they have zebra dumps.
Oh, well, that's a good reason right there. I would agree with you, but I think the only reason that I would say Boma, because we've tried Sanaa, I guess not the restaurant, but you have
We
the
have.
option. Well, you have the option of the lounge. And I think the main reason a lot of people go to Sanaa is for the bread service.
We've been in the actual restaurant though.
We have, but not lately.
No.
That's what I mean. Like, that's my whole point is I think I can go to the lounge and get what I really want off of the menu and just, I don't have to blow the budget. Boma is something you're going to pay a lot of money for, but you're going to get good food. You've got the corn chowder. You've got all of those stews, those soups, the meat carvings, the Boma mustard, the zebra domes, like Kathleen said. All of the above. Not a character meal, but it really doesn't have to be, but it's a premium price. But Sanaa, decent menu, but I think 99% of the reason that we personally go there is that bread service. And I can get that at the lounge. So I'm going to pick Boma.
Yeah, I think you're right. And it comes down to the bread service. When you ask anybody about Sanaa, their default answer is, well, the bread service. Well, the bread service. You can get bread service there. You can get bread service elsewhere in the park. The bread service is amazing, but when you look at just selection, you got to go with Boma. And I would even say Boma breakfast. There are only a few places I think in the park truly worth going for breakfast, and two of them are at Animal Kingdom and Animal Kingdom Lodge. Zebra domes and bread pudding. And I'll just leave it at that. Boma for the win.
I think that would have been a more interesting choice, and maybe we can do this later on. If you would have said Boma or Jico, I think maybe I could make an argument a little bit more for Jico than I could Sanaa.
Well, my response for this one is Sanaa, because although I like Boma, I think that it's expensive. I really only like my favorite thing is that chicken corn chowder soup from Boma, and I just feel like it's expensive to go there when I only like a couple of things. I never feel like I get my like full money's worth. And Sanaa is actually pretty reasonably priced for and also like really good menu. I know that the bread service is the thing that is, what Sanaa is known for, but there are so many other really good things on the menu, like their salad sampler, the curries. You can get a kind of like an interesting, different meal there for less money than you'll spend for Boma. Plus, if you go during the day, you can sit and you can actually see the animals, which is what Animal Kingdom Lodge is known for, the fact that it's on a savanna. So to be able to actually watch the animals as you dine. I think the decor in Sanaa is absolutely beautiful. How they have it looks like you're sitting underneath trees and that they have those African cooking implements or whatever they're called. You'd like the pots and the pans and stuff all throughout the restaurant. I just think that you get much more immersed in kind of like the cultural aspect of Animal Kingdom Lodge when you're at Sanaa. And I think that actually the fact that you can sit at the bar and like or in the lounge area and order gives me it's another check for me because you can't do that with Boma. You either get a reservation and sit and order off you know, just get the buffet or you don't go at all. Whereas with Sanaa, if you wanted to, you could just show up to the bar area. Plus, it has that amazing breakfast. So, it's not you don't need to have a reservation to dine there. You can do cash and carry, or they give you a number when you order and they bring it to your plate. And it offers a lot of unique options that you wouldn't get at other places in the park. So Sanaa is in my top 5 restaurants at Disney, and, and for me, of all of the restaurants at Animal Kingdom Lodge, it's always my number 1 choice. So whether it was whether it was, like, Sanaa versus Boma or Sanaa versus Jiko, Sanaa would be my answer. And if it and pro honestly, if it was for me, if it was Boma versus Jiko, let's do that next. Like, Boma versus Jiko, I'm picking Jiko.
Okay, before we get too far, that was either A, the longest explanation I've ever heard for I just like to be different, or B, since she suggested the topic and the first this or that, I think she had that completely planned out for that 9-minute explanation.
Premeditated. She was ready.
Completely.
Well, we didn't have an idea, so I figured I would just talk the length of an episode, and then we could wrap it up. So everyone, thanks for tuning
Got
in
it
this
covered.
week.
Bye, guys.
Jeez, sorry I explained myself. God, I'll keep
She
it brief
totally
next
had
time.
this planned.
I think, in all fairness, when we did Sanaa, we did it right after everything reopened, and we made the mistake of getting a nighttime reservation, so we completely canceled out the benefit of having the view and the bread service. I think when we went was good. We recently went back to the lounge, and we both commented on how great it was. I don't know how it's better than what it used to be, but it just tasted a lot better. Everything was like spot on perfect. But yeah, I don't know though. I feel like that's not really comparing apples to apples, even though they're both restaurants at Animal Kingdom. One's a buffet, one is a sit down restaurant. If you go to a buffet, there's no light option. You know the price that it's going to be. You better come hungry. You're all in on that buffet. But Sanaa, it definitely has a lot more options available to you. If you just want to get something small, I could see that being a positive as having a lot more options.
You're right, it's not apples to apples, but I think when you hear people talking about dining at Animal Kingdom Lodge, that is traditionally the question they ask. Am I going to Boma or am I going to Sanaa? And I think maybe they don't realize they're completely different, but those are always the two that people are choosing between.
And I think that for the most part, I mean, I think Boma has like a very people feel very strongly about Boma. Like people love Boma. If you look at on a lot of the Disney Facebook groups when people are asking for suggestions of where they should eat, people say Boma. I feel like Sanaa is overlooked by a lot of people because it's in at Kidani, and I think that there's probably a segment of the Disney, like, fandom at large that are not DVC members that don't actually realize that Sanaa is there. So I think that Sanaa kind of remains a little bit of, like, a hidden gem for DVC members, whereas Beaumont is very popular for everyone.
I think if you put Sanaa where Jiko's at, then you're having a whole different conversation. Just because I always felt like Kadani was like the redheaded like stepchild of Animal Kingdom. Like not everybody doesn't go to Kadani, but when you go to Animal Kingdom Lodge, everybody goes into Jumbo. So I really feel like if you were to put Sanaa over where Jiko's at, then it's going to get a lot more traffic and a lot more popularity for sure.
You do then lose the view of the animals because neither Boma nor Jiko have the view of the animals, which is what makes Sanaa also unique. So
Right. Well, I'm ready to do the Jiko versus Boma one, Amy, if you want to do that.
let's do it.
Go
What do you
for it.
think?
I know Jiko for me, the real positive, they've got that damn good steak on there with the mac and cheese. So, I mean, that's a really good meal. And I don't know, we've only been there once.
Just once, yeah.
And I know is that the place where there's like a whole story when you walk in and there's
Yeah.
like the birds on the ceiling? I don't know, so somebody else can talk about that, but I know there's a whole story behind that. Kind of an open kitchen concept so you can see everybody cooking. But we were there and it was good. I'm not going to say it was bad, but then we just said, well, at the end of the day, I think we would pick Boma over Jiko just because there was more options. But it is a signature restaurant, I believe. It's very pricey, but it was really, really good. That steak with they have some kind of a special mac and cheese there was really good, top notch compared to other places. Did you like Chico?
I mean, considering I don't eat anything else on the menu other than the steak, it was really good. I mean, I would probably say Boma again, only because there's more things for me to eat there. That's just me personally.
Boma is just one of those places though where you just like you have to be scrolling through like what's available for restaurants and you have to be in the mood for it. I mean, you
Oh yeah.
really have to be in the mood for it to pay that price.
I think Sanaa. I'm sorry. I think that Jiko is outstanding, and I think that it's from the decor to the bread service. They have that giraffe bread with the goat cheese butter, which is absolutely delicious. They have that boar tenderloin appetizer, which is excellent. They have a really delicious scallop on the menu, and they tend to have more of like a seasonal menu, so it changes a little bit from like there's variations on what they offer, which I enjoy versus Boma, which is like pretty standard every time you go. You're going to get the same thing every time you go. You also at Jiko, they have a quite large wine list of all different wines that from South Africa. And I just think also, for me again, like I don't love buffet dining because something that you miss when you dine at a buffet is the service. Like they'll bring you your drinks and they'll check on you once in a while, but the the dining experience at a signature dining restaurant at Walt Disney World, you're going to get an elevated level of service. And so anytime I've dined at Jico, the service is just also really excellent. So I think that it's just a really, really unique, beautiful restaurant. And as you mentioned, Scott, it's got that open dining concept where you can see the kitchen, which always just kind of adds a fun energy to a restaurant. So Jico gets my vote.
Having never dined at Jiko, I'm going to abstain from this one.
How about the Mara versus Gasparilla Island Grill? Kathleen's face, that looks like she's struggling with this one.
Oh.
Hmm. Do you want me to jump in? You can go ahead if you're ready, but I have I mean, shocking what I'm going to pick, but
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Gasparilla. over at Grand Floridian. More options for me over there. I really do love the Mara quick service, but there's definitely more options for me to eat there over at Grand Floridian.
I don't even think this is like a compare. Like, I don't even know the Mara. Like, I'm trying to think like good breakfast options.
Definitely good breakfast.
Other than that, I think it's standard. I don't know. I have to look at the menu, but I want to say standard lunch and dinner, quick service. But Gasparilla over at Grand Floridian to me is just next level with the create your own salad station in the morning. I think Amy alluded to on another episode that it is a create your own. What is it for breakfast?
Parfait.
Parfaits?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, that alone is a game changer. I mean, you can get a decent salad, protein included for $12. But the offerings that they have at Gasparilla's, I know they're just always so good. I mean, they had the grilled cheese, the Italian sandwich. There's been so many things there that are so good. The seasonal offerings that they do seem to be a little bit above everybody else. Mara's good. I mean, I'm not going to knock it, but I think in this or that, I would definitely go with Gasparilla.
Can I go over to the artist palette instead?
That's a good option.
That's a good option.
That is a good option. I mean, they
have my favorite salad there.
That panini's excellent. I'd be willing to go over to Gasparilla to try the salad bar you guys spoke about. That has my attention since the last episode, but between the two of them, I don't know. I think I could take a bus and find better options. That's just me.
So I'm sticking with Animal Kingdom Lodge on this one, and I'm picking the Mara because I love their ancient grain power bowl for breakfast. I think that is really delicious. It's a healthier option. It's got farro in it, quinoa, berries, sweet potatoes, hard boiled egg, and feta cheese, and it is delicious. So that is like one of my favorite quick service breakfast options. And then I think that their lunch options, their lunch and dinner options, they also have a tremula spiced shrimp bowl or a chicken bowl, or you can get a combination of both. They have a South African vegetable bowl, a harissa spiced beef bowl. So they have like all of like these different bowl options that you can get that have like a protein and rice and some vegetables in it, which are really good. And they have the tamarind barbecue pork sandwich, and I'm a huge fan of tamarind sauce. So anytime I can get tamarind on something, I'll be all over it. And then they have flatbreads, and they have the one that has the ricotta cheese with the tomatoes and the herbs, which is also really good. So overall, I'm sticking with the Mara because I also think that just aesthetically, the Mara appeals to me more than Gasparilla's does, which is kind of like very nondescript inside.
All right, let's move away from dining just because we always focus on dining. We'll do something a little different.
I think I'm focused on dining because I haven't had dinner yet.
That would do it. All right, so either one of the holiday parties, very merry or not so scary, versus an after hours party.
I mean, assuming that they're the same cost, I'll probably go with the holiday one just because it's something different than any like
Holiday's a little more expensive. The after hours, just for the record, are about $175 a piece.
which you can get a holiday one if you're not at like the peak time. Like that's around how much it is. And I can go to extended evening hours as a deluxe resort guest and be able to be at the park late without like the holiday overlay, which I don't know. I'm just kind of drawn to like if I'm going to spend the money, let it be for the holidays. So I'm getting like the decorations and I'm getting like the holiday vibe.
I think so too. I think I'm going to go with a holiday party, but I think more specifically, I'm going to go to the not so scary Halloween party over
Really?
the Christmas one. I just like that one more. I feel like there's more theming, more the parades are outstanding, the headless horseman, everything about that party I love, and then you get candy too.
You get cookies at the Christmas one
Very true.
and hot cocoa.
That is true. But I love me some candy. But yeah, I don't think we've never paid for the after hours one before, just because of the reason that Amy said. Like every now and then, there's extended hours for deluxe guests. But the holiday parties are pricey. But I could make an argument whether they're worth it or not worth it. I guess.
Kathleen, are you going with Christmas party?
I love both. I love both of those parties, but I think I'm going to go with the Christmas party. Yeah.
I'm
Well,
going to go in the opposite direction of everybody, and I'm going for the after hours events. What were you going to say, Scott?
I was just gonna throw Jollywood in there. I guess that counts too. We haven't done that, so I might
This year.
change my mind on whether I pick the Halloween party over at Magic Kingdom or Jollywood over at Studios.
I went with the after hours mainly because anytime we've gone, and we've done it a few times, and we've used it as a date night for Emily and I. When we go with the kids, we'll get one of the in room babysitters and go down there. It actually feels like the parties used to feel, where the parks are not completely mobbed. In the last few times we have gone to one of the holiday parties, it has been ridiculously, overwhelmingly, insultingly busy inside those parks for the money that you pay, where the after hours, regardless of if we wanted to do rides or we wanted to just go get our free snacks, because you get your premium ice cream, you get your sodas, you get your popcorn, or if we just wanted to wander the park and relax with zero crowds. I have photos of us going through Frontierland and there's nobody there, not a single person anywhere around us. I think you actually get, from a park experience standpoint, more for your money, not having to battle the crowds. Now, granted, you don't get the character meet and greets that are exclusive to the parties. You don't get the parades, but I think just experiencing the parks themselves, which is where my heart is, I think it's the after hours parties all day long.
What about Pandora or Galaxy's Edge?
Not even a contest. Go ahead, guys.
I'm going with Pandora.
No, granted, Pandora when it's open at night. Let's make that really clear. When you can actually get into Animal Kingdom after dark and enjoy Pandora in the time and ambiance that it was designed for, it is Pandora all day and all night, and it's not even a contest. It's not even the same sport, never mind the same ballpark.
Galaxy's Edge, and I'll say the same thing. It's not even a contest. There's more rides, more theming. At night, it's lit up. It's beautiful. More people like Star Wars than they like Avatar. I don't know. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. I'm just guessing that. But
It's a pretty easy guess. I don't have the numbers in front of me either. I think it's safe to say.
but just the fact that there's multiple rides over there, there's character interactions that walk through the crowds. You have help me out with the bar that's in there that I can never ogas. You can make a lightsaber, you can make a droid. There's interactive gaming that you could play on My Disney Experience.
I
It's
get
just
that.
you walk out of that cave, like when you're walking right by Muppet Vision there. You step into it, the music hits, the theming is spot on. You have just been transported to a whole different place. So for me, it's 10 out of 10
I'm not a
Galaxy's
Star
Edge.
Wars fan.
I think that plays a huge factor, though.
Yeah, but look at it this way, and that's what I was going to say. I get nothing from Galaxy's Edge. I mean, I get absolutely nothing. I can appreciate the immersion, I can appreciate the detail, but if you're not a Star Wars fan, you get not a lot from Galaxy's Edge. You don't have to be an Avatar fan to get a feeling inside of Pandora to appreciate it. I just think that it speaks to a wider audience. Maybe they're I wouldn't even say they're equally as beautiful. I think Pandora is more beautiful. I think they are equally immersive in different ways. But if you're not a Star Wars person, good luck with Galaxy's Edge. If you're not an Avatar person, Pandora is still gorgeous.
I am not a Star Wars fan, and I absolutely love Galaxy's Edge, and I would pick it over Pandora 10 out of 10 times
All right.
for every reason that Scott just said. Because the theming, because literally, like, you turn a corner and it feels like you have left. Like, it is such an immersive land. I think that Rise of the Resistance is the best ride at Walt Disney World.
Oh, so that's where we disagree. No one in our family has any use for it.
It's a 25-minute, just complete, like, adventure from the second you step foot on that queue to the second you step off, which also, like, lays the groundwork for the storyline of the entire land. I love that as you're walking, you can hear, like, the drones overhead. Just, like, the sounds are immersive, the stormtroopers walking around, you're seeing Kylo Ren walking around. You've got you do have Ogas at nighttime. Having everything lit up and kind of glowing is so cool. I've done the interactive, game on My Disney Experience, which is tons of fun. I love that little shopping market area where Ronto Wrappers is at the end with all of, like, the little shops. Like, I just think that it is on a it's also on such a larger scale than Pandora is. And I think Pandora is beautiful, but Pandora is not a place where you linger once you have gotten off the ride. It's where I could linger in Galaxy's Edge for a very long time.
They didn't miss a beat at that place. I think just you could talk about the bathrooms, you could talk about the trash cans, you could talk about the merchandise that they sell. You get a bottle of Coke, you're not going to get a bottle of Coke like that anywhere else in the park. So I really feel like everything about it, like Amy said, the sights, the sounds, everything about it, character interaction, even food. There's a lot of food options. There's that little market area there. I know you like that coffee drink that they have over there, but you can buy a lot of different merchandise and things, multiple rides. I think they nailed it with Galaxy's Edge. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with Avatar. It is beautiful. It's just that's a different kind of beauty for me, where they have the waterfall, the tree, everything there is beautiful. And if it was open at night, I've seen that place lit up at night, and it is breathtaking at night. But let's face it, Animal Kingdom nowadays is closing at 7 o'clock, and you don't get to see that too often.
Yeah.
I guess you like what you like. If I never saw Galaxy's Edge again, it would not affect me one bit. If I lost Pandora, I'd feel like I lost a true experience in the park. I think it just comes down to personal feelings there.
I will say it's a different experience as you're driving into the bubble, and you can see Hollywood Studios. You can see the backside of the rocks of Galaxy's Edge, and it is not so magical when you see the backside of those rocks. It
Just looking like there's up on toothpicks underneath them.
Yeah, it looks like the cheapest, most generic thing you could ever see. I got one for you guys if I can jump in here.
Absolutely. Shoot.
Completely different. We're going to go entertainment. Amy, this might hit you a little bit, but a night at Jelly Rolls or a night with Yeehaw Bob? Entertainment night. Clarification.
Wow,
Poor Bob.
That's kind of hard for me because since we just experienced Jelly Rolls for the first time, that was really fun. But Yeehaw Bob is really fun too. I don't know.
That's a tough one because you could make an argument for either one. They're both unique experiences. I think very similar. They're both Jelly Rolls is going to be closing. Bob is just, for me, that's where it's at. It's just too unique of an experience. He is so interactive with the crowd, and I know Jelly Rolls is too, but like I said, you could make an argument. The only thing that I would say sets a night with Bob apart is like the food, the drinks might be a little bit better.
I was going to say that.
You're not going to get a
much
bag of
better
chips.
We're going to the same place.
Definitely.
But they're both just great experiences, and I think that's a tough one for a lot of people.
I mean, it's Jelly Rolls for me. If I can go over and see Bob, like if I have time to fit it in, I'll do it and I'll enjoy it. But like I've said a million times on the show, like Jelly Rolls is something that I do on almost every trip I go to and have for the past 30, well, no, however old I am, 26 years. So that's just it's a no-brainer for me.
I think entertainment wise, as someone who appreciates music and musicians, I've got to give the nod to Jelly Rolls. But I think Scott is correct. When it comes down to the whole experience, the resort, the food options, they're at the bar, the app's coming up, the quick serve right next door. I've got to go with Yeehaw Bob just because I think there's more to offer there if you're going to be spending an extended period of time partaking in that.
Fair enough. Sounds good.
I don't know.
You got one?
I don't know.
Nothing?
Well, thank goodness we didn't make you go first tonight.
I so badly wanted to. I thought about saying it, but...
Well, I did have one, but it's food related, so...
Oh, we can go back to food. We were delving way down the food path. I figured maybe we'd switch it up. What do you got? Come on.
I was going to say Narcoossee's or Citricos.
I could actually answer that easily because we actually made that decision not just days ago. Go ahead, Amy.
I feel like it's going to be unanimously Narcoossee's across the board. I think Scott might be the only wild card here. He might kind of lean towards Citricos, but for me, it's definitely Narcoossee's.
Same for me.
No, I'm not going to lean any way at all towards Citricos after what they did to me. They completely got rid of my dessert, the apple rose.
I thought there was an assault involved the way you said that.
Yes.
After what they did to me.
It's personal.
It was an emotional assault, Phil.
It was. The way he said that, there was so much feeling in his voice. Like, did they touch you in your no-go zone?
I don't even want to talk about it. It still hurts that much. That was a moving, emotional experience. I don't know if folks have ever had food that has moved you to tears almost, but it was such a beautiful presentation.
Taco Bell.
Well, that's a different kind of.
For different reasons.
Well, hey, he did not specify.
Oh, but that dessert was. It was a
Taco
reminder.
Bell also moves others to tears too.
It burns.
But no, I'm taking Narcoossee's just because it's better menu, drinks, ambiance, view.
I mean, the Narcoossee's glow up is really something is really noteworthy. I mean, I can't think of many other. I mean, Citrico's glow up too, because Citrico's before this refurb and this iteration of Citrico's was not good. I mean, I think overall, like the glow up at the Grand Floridian in terms of dining is really notable. They did a great job because Narcoossee's was also just kind of meh. It was so like early 1990s, like Golden Girls vibes in there, and now it's just stunning.
It is gorgeous in there now.
We had this conversation the other night because, again, we're looking toward May, trying to figure out what we're going to do. We make it a dinner time conversation around the table. Hey, kids, where do you want to eat? We plan it out. We look at menus. And I gave them the option for Citrico's. We looked at the menu, and it wasn't even a contest. Everyone came back to Narcoossee's. I mean, I knew where I was going to go. I thought maybe Emily might want to do Citrico's. The kids' menus are a little varied, but Luke's starting to eat from the adult menu. It was just Narcoossee's, hands down. They didn't even consider Citrico's one little bit, so it's unanimous. Narcoossee's across the board.
Before Narcoossee's reopened, Citrico's had become kind of like a go-to for me. But then my last experience at Citrico's, it kind of missed for me. And Narcoossee's is so good that I feel like Citrico's has fallen off my radar because I'm probably not going to dine at both restaurants on a trip. So I'm always going to pick Narcoossee's. So I would need to be there. Honestly, I would need to be there like you, Phil, for like 10 days to even consider going to Citrico's and dine twice at the Grand Floridian.
Well, you can actually get the menu too. I think it's after 5 o'clock at Enchanted Rose. You can get anything off of Citrico's menu.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know if that plays into anybody's choice or
Or
not.
at their
But
lounge.
yeah, they have the lounge too. But I mean, I could just sit over at Enchanted Rose. I'm just mad. I'm just never going to set foot back in Citrico, so I'm going to stay out of this one. Their food's good though.
You guys get very attached. Scott, between the dessert at Citrico's and
Don't bring it up. Don't do it. Don't do it, Amy.
I just saw a picture of my poor brisket chips yesterday, and I actually put the picture on my new skylight that I got for Christmas because that's how much they're missed.
Well, that actually, yes, I know. I actually just thought of one because I put a post up on the Facebook group about the stack burger at
Steakhouse 71.
Thank you. I'm almost 45.
I'm here for you, buddy.
Thank you so much. And somebody mentioned had I had the bison burger over at Geyser Point, and then I believe somebody else had not brought up, but kind of brought up the fact that the brisket chips were missing. So I'll go there. I'm just gonna go burger wise. I love burgers. Stack burger or bison burger. Have you guys had both?
I have
have
not
not.
had the stack burger.
I have not had the stack burger. I've only had the bison burger, and I've had it one time, and I had it, and I thought it was okay.
I feel like you would be a stack burger kind of girl. It's more of a classic, but with a little bit of pork belly on there. The bison burger, I felt the same way. It was decent, but I think that sauce, what was it called? Marionberry sauce? Something like that. It was okay.
The Marion berry sauce, that meant something totally different back in the 90s.
Probably tasted better back then, too.
I don't know about that.
Oh my God.
Bleep.
We already quoted Yellowstone, for goodness sake. The fairy horns happened 30 minutes ago.
Speaking of fairy horns, if you're at TTC, are you taking the ferry or are you taking the monorail?
I'm taking the path to Polynesian and going across on a launch.
The last several times I've had that option, I've chosen the ferry. It's just a more pleasant way to travel.
I'd rather go the ferry, but we usually take the monorail.
I was just gonna say I'm a monorail guy. I love the monorail, so I'm gonna pick that one.
Yeah, the way Kathleen phrased that, it was quite clear who was choosing the monorail.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I really like the ferry, but unfortunately, I'm married to somebody who likes the monorail. So
Yeah,
there
that
we
was
go.
what a great guy.
All right, one more to cap us off, just because by the time you guys hear this, it will have opened up Festival of the Arts or Flowering Garden.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's farts all day. I'm sorry. Everything's beautiful at Flower and Garden, but farts is beautiful as well. The artwork, just all of the interactive things that you can do. You can watch the guys paint when they get up and they do the shows up on the stage. The food to me is better. It's beautiful. The paint, the mural that you can paint, the chalk paint when you walk in. It is my favorite festival, hands down.
Yes, I'm going Festival of the Arts.
Well,
Kathleen's thinking.
if you would have asked me a couple years ago, I would have said Flower and Garden. But I think it's definitely Festival of the Arts now. But Flower and Garden has my frushi.
I'm going to go with Flowering Garden, mainly because every time we go down for Festival of the Arts, it's cold. And I don't leave New England to go to Florida to be cold. I just don't. It feels strange to go down there and it's cold when I thought I was going down south. You guys, I think by the time May rolls around, are in full bloom for spring down in Florida. The beginning of May up here is still not all that nice. We might have some flowers out, but they could be covered under mud. It could still be chilly, yes or no. By the time Flowering Garden pops out in Orlando, we are dying to get out of New England winter and go down there and see the beautiful topiaries and the flowers and the heat and the warmth and everything that goes with it. So I think just because of our geographical circumstances, I'm going to go with Flowering Garden.
I think the first time the four of us got together was at Farts.
It was.
So that's why I picked it too.
Aw.
Emotional.
Oh, you are so full of crap.
They're both great.
This year is the 30th anniversary of the Flower and Garden Festival, so I'm interested to see if they do something a little different, like if they introduce some new things for the 30th anniversary of the festival, or if it's just going to be the same old thing.
I'm interested to see how many 30th anniversary of Flower and Garden Dooney and Borks my wife comes home with.
Also, at this year's Flower and Garden Festival, Air Supply is going to be performing,
Yes.
and it is their 50th anniversary celebration.
No.
So
Wow.
don't miss out on this, folks.
How is that
Wow.
possible? I don't like this math. I disagree with this math.
Must have been I don't know. It must have been a 70s band. I was born in the 80s. I don't even know who Air Supply is.
Stop.
You're such a liar. I need to see if Christopher Cross is coming back. He was not there last year and it was heartbreaking.
Crisscross?
Different Chris Cross. We are not jumping around. We are sailing.
He's not playing in March, but they've only announced the March performers. So
I'm not going to be there till May anyway. I'll wait and see. All right, does that wrap it up, guys?
There's so many more that we could do, but yeah, we got to keep it under a certain time.
well, we'll do this again in a couple weeks when we have nothing better to talk about.
You're right. We
We
have
should
to
just-
pre-record a couple of episodes next week, so maybe another this or that is in order.
We did pretty good for winging it.
We did.
Even though Phil accused me of having ulterior motives.
All I'm saying is that sounded very prepared. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that your eyes were down reading left to right as if you were looking at a teleprompter.
You thought before we started recording that I wasn't paying attention, but I was typing a script on my phone.
She was reviewing her notes for this episode.
My monologue.
She also has the intro typed out on there too.
She just looked down and to the right, 1,000%. All right, guys. As always, thanks for playing along. You could head on over to Apple Podcast, give us a like, a 5-star review. We would very much appreciate it. Amy?
And if you'd like to join the shenanigans, you can join us on Facebook at DVC Clubhouse and become a member of our community there. We're also on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So give us a like, a subscribe. And until next time, we'll DVC you real soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
And so our journey comes to an end.
Oh, no, please, can't we go back to page 1 and do it all over again?
Started this thing together, and that's how we'll finish it.
Because that, my friends, is where the magic lives.